You know, there's this weird thing happening in our hyper-connected, always-on world. It's like a silent epidemic. It's not a virus, but it's this invisible force that just drains our potential, leaving us feeling completely exhausted but unfulfilled. It's a crisis that's born not from doing nothing, but from the constant hum of digital noise. And it really took a maverick computer science professor to not only see what was happening, but to actually figure out a cure by asking a really basic question about how we work today.
So that professor was Cal Newport. And what he saw, it wasn't just, a time management problem or that we needed better apps. No, it was a deep systemic failure. He realized that the very tools we built to make us more efficient were actually wrecking our most valuable human skill, the ability to just concentrate deeply in for a long time. He saw a world where we started celebrating people for how fast they replied to an email instead of the quality of their ideas. And for him, this wasn't just some interesting observation. It was basically a call to arms against this new kind of mediocrity that was just taking over everything.
And this gets us right to the heart of the paradox of modern work. We've somehow started to think that being visibly busy means we're doing valuable work, right? An overflowing inbox, a calendar that's just a wall of back-to-back meetings, the constant buzz of notifications, these have become the badges of honor for a successful professional. We're performing busyness, but Newport saw right through it. He saw this dangerous split between being busy and actually being productive, and it's a trap that pretty much every single one of us falls into. It's that feeling where you run around all day totally frantic, only to get to the end and wonder, what did I actually do today?
Okay, so Newport brilliantly defined the battlefield of modern work with these two ideas. On one side, you've got shallow work. Just think of this as all the logistical stuff. Answering emails, those routine status meetings, admin tasks. It's frantic, you don't need to concentrate that hard, someone else could probably do it. And here's the kicker, it creates very little new value. But on the other side, you've got deep work. And this is where the magic happens. This is the developer hunting for a bug in millions of lines of code. It's the marketer coming up with a truly game-changing campaign. It's an author lost in a chapter of their novel. This is the stuff you do in a state of pure, uninterrupted focus that pushes your brain to its limits. This is where breakthroughs happen. This is how you become indispensable. And Newport's scary realization? Our entire work culture, from open offices to Slack, is designed to drag us right into the shallow end of the pool.
So what do you do when you're facing this giant wave of shallowness? Well, Newport made a choice, and it was a really radical, public, and deeply strategic one. He just refused to have any social media accounts. Now, this wasn't some Luddite thing where he was retreating from the world. Nope, this was the first shot fired in his war on shallow work. It was a calculated move to protect his most valuable asset, his own attention. He understood that platforms like Twitter and Instagram are the ultimate engines of shallowness. They're built to reward tiny, low-value interactions and to just shatter our focus. By opting out, he was making a huge statement. My attention is not for sale. And that one decision became the foundation for everything that followed. To really get why Newport's rule is so powerful, you have to understand where it came from. This wasn't something he dreamed up in a comfy armchair. This philosophy was forged in the fire of academic computer science, a super high-pressure world. For him, this wasn't a lifestyle choice, it was a survival strategy. In his field, it wasn't about being good or great, it was about having a genuine breakthrough or just becoming totally irrelevant. His entire system was born out of pure necessity.
See, as a professor trying to get tenure, Newport was surrounded by the busy trap. There was this huge pressure to be available on email 24/7 for students and other faculty. There were endless committees, administrative stuff, just the constant noise of a university. But the actual work that would define his entire career, designing crazy complex algorithms, that work needed the exact opposite. It needed long, quiet, almost monastic stretches of pure, uninterrupted thought. The constant noise was a direct threat to his professional survival. He was at a crossroads. Either give in to the shallow, busy demands of his job, or build a fortress to protect the deep work that actually mattered.
And here's the crucial insight he had. By systematically saying no to the constant connectivity, he wasn't just surviving. He was creating a massive structural competitive advantage. Think about it. While all his peers were chopping up their brain power, sacrificing their best thinking hours for the quick dopamine hit of an email reply, Newport was dedicating his to the really hard problems in his field. His nonconformity wasn't just him being a rebel. It was a cold, calculated, strategic move. He was playing a totally different game, and because of that, he was winning.
So out of this personal battle, he built something for all of us, a universal doctrine, a really powerful philosophy for creating real value in a world that is actively trying to distract you. And let's be clear, this isn't about little productivity hacks like the Pomodoro technique. This is about completely re-engineering your relationship with your work, with your attention, and with technology itself.
It's a total mindset shift from measuring your activity to measuring your impact.
Let's just sit with this definition for a second, because every single word here matters. Distraction-free concentration. That means completely sealed off, not just kind of focused. Push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. This is not supposed to be easy. It's like a heavy workout for your brain. Create new value. It's not just shuffling papers around, it's making something that didn't exist before. Improve your skill. Doing deep work actually makes you better at what you do. And finally, the big one, hard to replicate. In a world of AI and automation, this is what makes you indispensable. Newport then boils this whole idea down into an almost physical law of productivity. And this formula is just brilliant. For so long, we've only focused on that first part, time spent. We think the secret to getting more done is just working longer hours. But Newport says we completely ignore the massive multiplier, intensity of focus. He shows that 1 hour of 100% deep, intense focus can produce way more value than a whole afternoon of scattered, low-intensity, shallow work. So the big takeaway here? The secret isn't working more, it's working deeper. It's about cranking up the intensity of the hours you already have.
So he built this whole doctrine on 3 core pillars that work together like a complete defense system. First, there's the formula for value we just talked about, maximizing intensity. Second is what he calls the craftsmanship ethos. This is a mindset where you treat your work like a master craftsman would, with a deep respect for quality and zero tolerance for sloppy, rushed work. And third, the digital minimalism imperative. This is the radical idea that you should only use a digital tool if it gives you a massive, clear benefit for your deep work. Everything else, you get rid of it ruthlessly.
Of course, a philosophy is pretty useless if you don't have a system to actually put it into practice. I mean, the pull of distraction is just way too strong for willpower alone. So Newport developed a set of concrete, actionable systems designed to build the habit of deep work right into your daily life. This is how the big idea becomes a reality. This is where the theory gets its hands dirty.
The absolute cornerstone of his whole system is time block planning. Now, this is rigorous, and for a lot of people, it sounds a little crazy at first. The rule is you schedule every single minute of your workday in advance. You give every minute a job. This gets rid of that "what should I do now" feeling that leads to checking email. Second, and this is so important, you schedule your big, deep work blocks first. These 3 or 4 hour sessions are the rocks in your schedule. Everything else, all the shallow stuff, has to fit in the cracks around them. And finally, you enforce a hard stop, a time when the workday is over, period. This forces you to be incredibly efficient and protects your actual life from work creep.
And the second key system targets the #1 enemy of deep work, the inbox. The email minimalist protocol is so simple but so powerful. Instead of letting your inbox be this constant, reactive slot machine, you just check it at a few fixed times. Maybe that's 9 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. But the critical part is what happens in between. You get these huge protected zones for actual uninterrupted work. You are no longer reacting to the world's demands on its schedule, you're dealing with it on your own terms. That simple shift completely changes the power dynamic. So, what happened? What was the result of all this? Well, Newport's systematic rejection of the always-on culture, it didn't leave him behind. It actually propelled him forward. His academic work exploded, he wrote massively influential books, and his ideas became a lifeline for millions of people who felt like they were drowning in digital noise. He went from a niche professor to a global authority on how to actually thrive in the modern economy.
You know, his true legacy is that he successfully put a name to the value of scarcity in our world. In an age of digital abundance, where information is cheap and notifications are free, the one thing that has become incredibly rare and therefore incredibly valuable is sustained, deep human attention. Newport didn't just tell us to focus more, he built a whole system that proved deep focus is the most valuable commodity we have. He gave us the blueprint to reclaim it.
This quote just nails his entire argument. The Newport Rule proves that protecting your focus isn't some antisocial act or a retreat from the world. It is a profoundly strategic and smart move. It's the single best thing you can do for your career and honestly, for your sanity. It's not about doing less, it's about creating the right conditions to produce more of the stuff that really matters.
Okay, so we've talked about the problem, the philosophy, the systems. What does all this actually mean for you right now? It means recognizing that the battle for your future, for your ability to do work you're actually proud of, is going to be won or lost on one single front: the battle for your own attention. This isn't just nice advice anymore. It's a mandate. It's a requirement for anyone who wants to do more than just tread water. Just let that number sink in for a second. 1. Not 2, not 5, 1. Our brains are not wired for multitasking.
What we call multitasking is really just context switching, and it's super inefficient. It burns through energy and destroys your performance. Every time you glance at a text while you're trying to do something important, you leave behind what scientists call attention residue, which can mess up your thinking for minutes afterward. Your brain is a single core processor for deep thought, and the entire modern world is designed to make us forget that basic fact. Protecting that one channel is everything.
So here's your personal mandate, your takeaway. First, start treating your attention like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. Don't just give it away for free. Second, try time block planning, just for tomorrow. Put a 90-minute deep work session on your calendar and protect it like it's a meeting with the most important person in the world. Third, do an audit of your digital tools. Ask of every single app, does this directly help me do my best work, or is it just a distraction? Be ruthless. And finally, make deep work your highest professional value. Celebrate it.
In the end, Cal Newport built his whole legacy on this hard-won truth that attention is the currency of the 21st century. He looked at a world getting louder, more frantic, and more shallow, and he bet on the opposite, on quiet, on patience, on depth. The Newport Rule proved that while shallow work keeps you busy, deep work is the only way to become indispensable. In a world that literally profits from your distraction, your capacity for concentration is the one competitive edge you absolutely must protect.
And that brings us to the end. The theory's clear, the systems work, so the only question left is the one right here. This isn't about changing your whole life overnight. It's about taking one small, intentional step. So what is the one single thing you're going to do today to start building your own fortress of focus?